Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 5th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started with our session for today. Got this all set up right here. A couple other things right here. Finish this up and we should be good to go. So one last thing here. And I think we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Cool. All right, cool. Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 5th. It's 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set up the liquidity real quick as people join the room. And then once everyone's in the room, we'll get started with our analysis of the charts today. All right, so we got a lot of liquidity here on the top side, which you guys can see. The majority of liquidity is sitting right here on the top. So we'll see what we can do with this here. There's some liquidity on the bottom, not as much, but there is liquidity down here. So I will mark that up just so that we have it marked up. But you guys can see there's a lot on the top. There's a lot on both sides actually. So we'll see what happens when the market actually does open. Got this marked up right here. I'm going to go over here and mark up the liquidity on the clean chart as well. So hopefully we get more volatility today where price is actually moving. Because yesterday it was kind of, it was kind of slow. But you can see that price has been ranging pretty much a lot of pre-market. So it looks like it might be pushing. Today's price continues to move along. But who knows? We'll see. Got that marked up right there. And I think that's it right there. All right, cool. So it looks like majority of people are in the room now. So let's see who's here. All right. So morning, Kenny. Morning, Marlon. Morning, Solo. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Peter. Morning, John. Morning, Jez. Morning, Matt. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Saren. Morning, Talanji. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Maria. Morning, Miles. Morning, Dell. Morning, everybody. So, all right, guys. Looks like majority of you guys are here. It's 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. Let me check the news real quick to see if anything played out this morning. Morning, Steven. I think something did come out this morning, but let me just double check. Today's Tuesday, April 5th. There was news at 5:30, so I'll mark that up on the chart. So 5:30, 6:45, and 7:05. There's a lot of news today, actually. So I'm gonna go over here real quick, mark up So there was news at 5:30, which was right there. So news at 5:30. Push price up a little bit. And we got more news today. We got news at 6:45, 7, and 7:05. 6:45. 6:45, 7, and 7:05. We got the Fed speaking. So we got a lot of news just cramped up in that little area right there. Yeah, we'll see how that pushes price, but hopefully causes good volatility, not like crazy spikes. So 6:45. 7:05. And then we've got market open right at 6:30. Right there. All right, so it's 6:28 right now. Market's going to open in about 2 minutes, guys. So let's take a look at retail sentiment real quick. Retail sentiment is currently 55% short. So it's going to indicate that we might have a slight bullish bias here for retail sentiment. Fundamentals are currently 79 points in the red. So this doesn't align. They're both indecisive because this is indicating sells. This is indicating buys. Technicals right now are indicating sells, sort of. Okay, let me see. Let me turn this on real quick. Yes, you can see prices below the pivots and trend meters red. However, this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like this all session, right? So you guys want to be careful with that. There's liquidity on both sides. So it might be pushing down slightly and then it might be swinging all the way back up. But we'll have to see how that pushes as we continue on. So morning, David, morning 19, morning to Dana. Morning, David, morning, Matthew, morning, Professor, morning, Steven, morning, everybody. All right, guys, so market is going to open in about 1 minute, guys. So when the market does open, we'll confirm, what direction we'll be trading in. This huge spike down below. This is a crazy spike right here. I don't know what's going on, what's causing price to dump like this. So just keep it in mind. This might be a fake out right here. I don't know if this is like a late reaction to the news. The news this morning at 5:30 was, let's see, it was a neutral. It wasn't really anything high impact, but yeah, huge spike right there. And then spike all the way back up. You guys want to be very careful today. Today, a lot of people call today Trap Tuesday. I'm sure a lot of people got trapped that sell right there. I'm sure you guys have, it's happened to you guys where you guys see price dropping so heavily and you try to hop into the sell and it comes all the way back up. So just be careful, guys. Price is right back to where it was. It's actually higher to where it was before open, or like right before it dumped like that. It literally just swung all the way back up. Morning, Randy. Morning, Rain. Morning, David. All right, guys. So there you go. Price is pushed all the way back up right there. I'm just going to mark this up as opening price. Yeah, what a huge candle. That's crazy. Wonder what caused that. Check the news real quick to see. I don't know what it caused that to push like that. There's no news, which is weird. Yeah, no news. Or maybe there's something here that happened in Ukraine. Red Cross workers released after being detained. NATO working UN, possible Russian war crimes. Yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. Yeah, you guys should definitely sit out of the market right now because it just hit liquidity below and then hit liquidity on top. I would be really careful entering any trades right now because this is it's pretty crazy. I haven't seen the market move like this since like COVID or the war. This has moved at least 1,000 pips within the last 10 minutes or so. This is technically the breakout right here, guys. But as I mentioned, I wouldn't take it. So this is technically considered the breakout right here. Yeah, this thing's moving pretty crazy. I would sit it out, but yeah, just showing you guys. Because basically for the breakout, you're looking for a strong red candle or a strong candle in the direction of momentum, which was right there basically, because there's a big green candle right here with, the candle's a lot stronger than the wick and it had a buy signal right there. So this is technically the breakout. You guys can see here, it's rejecting directly off the sessions right there. But yeah, no, I'd be very careful about taking anything here. This thing is just too crazy. Let me go ahead and just tweak that like that. Well, basically all the liquidity that we had marked up here got hit. So, I mean, it's just huge manipulation in both directions. Yeah, Maddie said gonna wait till the market to cool down a bit. Yeah, no, for sure. Me too. You can see where it's having a difficulty breaking and closing past. It's the Asia high from yesterday. Man, I figured I was going to push back up because we had so much liquidity sitting right here. It broke right through it, shot right through. I'm sure a lot of people's stop losses just got hit because there was so much liquidity that was right here in the middle. When price just shot right through, it was basically a stop loss hunt. Yeah, so I'm going to sit tight for a bit. This is pretty crazy to see market move like this. I haven't seen it move like this since like COVID times. So like there's like phases when the market moves like this. Like there was times when market moved like this during Trump. Whenever Trump said a tweet, like price would just go skyrocketing up. And there goes the breakout. Steven said goal reach. Nice work, Steven. And 19 over here as well. He said in and out. So great work, guys. I mean, great work to whoever took it. I wouldn't take it, but whoever's risky enough to take the breakout right there. It did hit full TP. All right, Steven, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, professor said it was too scary for me. And that's fine. It was scary for me too. And the thing is, I have a pretty thick skin in trading. So if I didn't take it, then, it's definitely not a trade that's really, that you could trust. Rick said, I love it. Yeah, Rick, did you pass your FTMO with one trade? There we go. Price is pushing up and you can see again right here, it's hitting all the liquidity. So it hit liquidity right here, kind of bounced off a little bit, pushed up higher, hit liquidity right here, and then it's going to push up and hit the rest of the liquidity up here. So as you guys can see, it pretty much just hit all the liquidity. There's liquidity down at this area, pushed up through it, hit this liquidity, pushed up to it, hit up this liquidity, pushed up here, hit this liquidity, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it comes right back down from this point, right? Gotcha, Anton. Yeah, no, Maddie, he identified like the same thing too. He had a supply down there as well. So, yeah, because he hit his 1 hour supply. Yeah, and the bottom right here lined up with the liquidity too. So it kind of came down, hit liquidity, and then it shot all the way back up. And not Anton, so Orain, I think Orain's in here, right? Where's Orain at? Orain should. Oh yes, Orain is here. Orain, so like Orain, remember the strategy we were talking about yesterday? Right there. So if you guys sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, nice. And Orain actually took it. So Maddie, remember the strategy I was telling you yesterday too? If you guys sat in on the mentoring session yesterday, Orain kind of looked at another variation to the V1 and the entry happened right here. So it's basically a double body. Instead of a double wick, it's a double body. There's a pending buy signal there. So it shot up, pretty nicely. So Orain took it and then, made a pretty huge profit off of that. So nice work, Orain. You can probably push it back to like the low right there, because that's a pretty big push, 600 pips. Yeah. If it wasn't such a crazy candle, I would have taken it too. But yeah, basically double body right here. So if you guys remember the V1 basically indicates that you're looking for a double wick rejection. So you're looking for a double wick rejection for this strategy that Rain kind of identified. And this is how the strategy was actually originated. We were looking for a double body, not a double wick. I just stopped looking for the body because the wick was easier to identify for a lot of people. So if you were to see this right here, this, you know, this pushed up pretty heavily and went straight to TP, no drawdown. Nice. Rick said made 3,100 on a little too lot. Nice work, Rick. Yeah, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys are profiting off the analysis and just identifying where price is going. But yeah, for sure. This is just too risky for me. I don't want to take risky trades like this. Anyways, price is broken above here. I'm looking for the retracement and then possible continuation to the upside. The only problem with this right here as well, guys, is that there's news like almost every, like there's gonna be news right here at 6:45. There's also news again right here at 7. And then later, there's the Fed speaking at 7:05. So like from 7:05 to 8, it's gonna be a hard trade if the Fed is gonna be pushing price around. I'm still trying to see like what really caused price to push up and down like that, because there has to be some sort of okay, so it says stocks dip as investors monitor recession odds, awaits clarity from Fed. The Fed's speaking at 7:05. So he's going to speak in about 20 minutes or so. Looks like a lot of people are just betting on the market. They're kind of just betting on what the Fed's going to speak about later today at 7:05. So it seems like price kind of dropped a little bit. It dipped. And then once people started speculating around the Fed, prices shot all the way back up. Yeah, Rick said when it rejected off the lowest session, I knew where it was going. Yeah, no, exactly. Professor said that is crazy movement. Yeah, no, for sure. Like this. So, you know, price usually doesn't move like this. We haven't seen price move like this in maybe over a year now. So it's pretty much pushed up 2,400 pips within like 5 minutes or so, which is pretty insane. I wouldn't chase the move here because you can see it's already overextended. Price has to pull back a bit. So I'm looking for that retracement. But you can see it literally knocked out all the liquidity in one shot. So you guys can see that's why it's important that you guys drop liquidity. If you guys go back and rewind the replay later today, you guys will see where I drew all the liquidity around this area. Price literally hit both sides of liquidity and then it just stopped. Yeah, Sam said that's the biggest triple confluence I've ever seen. Yeah, and also this was a triple confluence, just FYI, because it was a buy signal, trend meter is green, it was above the pivots, and it broke and closed across this, like pretty much a lot of this liquidity right here. There was like one level of liquidity right here, so that was a triple confluence, just like Sam mentioned. Rick said, gonna wait a few minutes for a nice red candle, then sell it to open, hopefully. It's a big drop further down, Rick. But who knows? I mean, it could come down. So here to open is 2,630 pips, which, I mean, it could happen. Don't get me wrong, it could happen. But the Fed is speaking right here at 7:05. So I think we might have some sort of retracement right here. And then maybe the bounce that I'm looking for is going to be one of these sessions here. So price might come down, bounce off the session, or come down in here, bounce off the session, come down in here, bounce off the session. I think it's going to be one of these areas. I don't think it's going to come all the way back down here. Also, it might come down to news price, bounce off that. Opening price, bounce off that. I mean, that's like the last line of defense down there. But you can see right here that price, you know, there's a lot of areas here where price rejects off these points. News price right here, price bounced off it. Price is bouncing off this earlier. The sessions bounce off this sessions and then break away from there. Yeah, that's crazy movement, super crazy. Lily over here, looks like she took the breakout because her entries here were about 630, 631, 632, 635. She locked in a total of 1,815. So amazing work right there, Lily. See if there's anything else over here. Steven sent in his profits, locked in a total of 1,360. So we got some profit here. So Valentine over here sent in his profits, locked in a total of 1,731. Nice work, Valentine. And then we got Lisa over here with a total of 1,213. So a lot of you guys actually made some pretty good profit off that breakout earlier. Lily again with 1,815. And then we have Dell over here with a total of 792. So even though I didn't take the trade, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here trusted and actually took it, made some profit off it. Steven here as well, locked in a total of 1,360. So Steven's on a roll. He's been taking the breakout today and yesterday. That's like pretty much the only strategy he takes. He made 1,360 off today. And then yesterday he made a total of 1,095. So total today, this week, Steven is up 2,400. So amazing work right there, Steven. And that's him just taking one trade a day. So as you guys can see, if you guys really like zone in on just one strategy, you guys can easily lock in some pretty massive profit. If Steven locks in 1,000 a day, you just do the math, right? So it's really simple. Like Steven, every single day, he just takes the breakout. That's about it. His goal is $1,000. So if you look at all his profits here, he's always making about 1,000 a day. So if he does 1,000 a day, you do basic math. 1,000 a day times 5 times 4, because 4 weeks in the month. That's 20,000 a month times 12. You make about 240,000 a year. If he can do this consistently, which he is doing, which is pretty amazing, just to apply one strategy and be able to, lock in that kind of profit consistently. But anyways, nice work there, Steven. I don't know if you're still here. You probably went back to work. Yeah, because Steven works a normal job still. So he just trades with us in the morning and then he goes to work right after. All right, news is coming up right here, guys. We'll see what happens when news comes out. I think price is going to consolidate a bit, which is perfectly fine. So there we go. As price push around here. B's asking, does Steven take half TP on a 5 lot or something? That's what he's been doing. Because the thing is, he just gets scared sometimes when, like today, when the market's kind of trippy like this, he won't go for the full TP, and he'll go for half TP. But if he's feeling comfortable with the position, like I tell him, it's, if I'm taking it with him, he'll go for the full move or he'll go full lot. So yeah, it just depends. He's smart about it. He changes his risk depending on what type of entry there is in the market conditions. So if it's risky, that's what he does. He goes for half TP. Sometimes he goes for full TP. Sometimes he goes for half. Sometimes he scalps within it. It depends on what the market shows him that day. And he bases his entry off my analysis. So news was negative, or let me see. Yeah, it was. Yeah, news was negative. We'll see where price goes from here. I'm going to go and mark this up as news price. Or no, it hasn't closed yet. Anyways, let's just mark it up right there. So we got news price right there. And let's just take a look at what the bias is looking like now, because the bias, I'm sure, has changed. Bias right now is currently about 60% short. Fundamentals are currently 100 points in the green. So looking at this here, our bias for today is bullish. So basically what I'm looking for is a retracement for where price is currently moving. And I'm going to be looking for buys, obviously. So here we go. As price is now ranging within this area, which is perfectly fine. This is actually what we want. We don't want price to keep pushing up all the way because we want price to actually slow down a bit, range. And then when it continues to push up higher, we can catch that that buy movement. Again, right here, Rain, it's another double body wick that you were looking for. See how far did it push up? So it pushed up at least like 100 pips. So if you're going for like a 100 pip move, depending on where your TP stop loss is, it was another double body right there. The only problem with this one here was that there's no pending momentum. So maybe one reason why I wouldn't take it. We haven't really established what the rules would be for that strategy, but there was no pending momentum there, which is something that I would probably take into consideration. So yeah, guys, if you guys haven't watched the mentoring session from yesterday, we actually covered like a new strategy in there, which we're going to be testing forward testing during these lives. That Arain thought of. It's one that I initially was starting to develop, but once I figured out the double wick rejection, I stopped working on it. And Arain kind of reminded me, he brought it back up, which it does work really well. Depending on how far you're going, let's see. Yeah, because if you're just going for 100 pips, I mean, it's a really easy, quick scalp on the 1 minute. However, it's not one that I would have taken because it's right at news. Also, you can see right here, price is starting to come back down a little bit. So we got that right there. But it's just ranging around this area. Yeah, they say, damn, this low-key nice. Yeah, no, for sure. There's always different ways to apply the variations, guys. And they all work. So maybe it'll be considered like variation V3 or V4. We have like 4 variations now, or we'll just do variation V1, have 2 different options there. Either double wick or double body, which, obviously both work very well. All right, so you can see right here, price is rejecting off, typical areas. So rejecting off the low, rejecting off the highs. It's pretty much just moving sideways here. All right, so price is breaking below here. And this is perfectly fine, guys. This is what we want to happen. We want price to actually pull back a little bit because price has been overextended. However, overall, our bias here is still bullish. So it's okay if price drops a bit, and you can see it's increasing even more. This is pretty crazy to see the retail sentiment move this fast. So if you guys remember yesterday, retail sentiment moved from like 52% to like 58% and then back to 50%. Sentiment usually doesn't change that much unless people are getting stopped out really quickly, or people are just entering and exiting the market really fast, which I think that's what's happening as well. People are just gambling in the market, right? Because this number here indicates where the retail traders are trading. So out of all the retail traders who trade on IG, this broker, this is where their traders are sitting. If all of the traders are sitting on this side, majority of other traders from other brokers are probably doing the same thing, right? Because everyone sees the same thing on the chart. Everyone trades the same way. So with that said, this indicates that there's, this many people on the short side. So we want to do the opposite of them and buy. Thanks, John. John said 5 minute V3. Yeah, so there's a 5 minute V3 here. However, it's not one that I would personally want to take because I have a bullish bias. It might come down because I do think it might come down and test the sessions down here, but it's not one that I would take because I have an overall bullish bias right now. So I wouldn't take the sell. However, this is a V3, just like John mentioned. You guys can follow it if you like, not one that I would recommend you guys take because I never trade against the bias. Bias is going to be the 5th requirement here for the variation. Right there, confirmed trade in the direction of bias. So I personally wouldn't take it. If you guys want to take it and you guys feel risky, you guys are more than welcome to take it, but just understand the risks. And if you guys do take it, I do recommend moving your stop loss in profit and trailing it as it starts to move down lower, because this is a risky trade. And the thing is, when price reaches the sessions down here, I do expect it to bounce off it. So it might get close to TP and then bounce off, or it might hit TP and then bounce off there as well. So yeah, no, same here, Maddie. It's a double body too. So this would fit as the variation, the variation to the V1 as well that Arain was referring to, because there's a double body right there. And there's a pending momentum for a sell. So we'll see where that goes. But currently right now, basically just waiting for price to Sorry, guys. Prices swing back up. All right, so let's see where sentiment's sitting. I want this to drop lower and lower. The lower, the better, guys. Like I want this to just keep increasing. It's 61%. If this goes up to like 70, 75%, then I'm for sure looking for buys. This is what we really want. So like basically we're kind of just sitting ducks. Like for me, I haven't taken many trades for the past couple of weeks or past 2 weeks or so, because there's really no sentiment here. So with no sentiment, this is the main confluence. If we don't have this, there's no clear direction as to where price is going to be going. The fundamentals here, they change, right? So earlier it was over 100 points. Now it's to like 80 points and it's going to 70 points. So this isn't very consistent. We need this to be consistently above 100 points for it to be a strong bias. The only strong bias we really have here is going to be the retail sentiment here. And I guess the technical is if you put 2 and 2 together, because the technicals here are very bullish. You can see prices like way above here. The pivots are spread out. The trend meter is green. So it is obviously very bullish, but price is due for some sort of retracement, at the very least. Other than that, see if there's any new news going over here with regard to the war. Not really, pretty much same thing. Zelensky slated to address the UN Security Council. So he's speaking right now. This could affect the market too. He's going to speak in about 6 minutes. So in about 6 minutes, Zelensky's going to speak as he addresses the Security Council. Keep that in mind. We have a lot of news today. We have news coming up again right here at 7 o'clock, which is ISM services. This is high impact. So we got a lot of things coming on, guys. We have high impact news coming up at 7. We also have Ukrainian President Zelensky addressing the United Nations Security Council at the same time. And then right after that, we have the Fed speaking at 7:05. So expect some crazy market movement to happen around this point. Because we just have a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of like something that Zelensky could say could affect the market. The high impact news here will definitely affect the market. It's US news. And then we have the Fed speaking at 7:05, which is going to affect the news too. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of like 3 big events that are happening at the same time right here, which will cause some sort of push in price. I believe it's a push to the upside because, whenever the Fed speaks, they're going to be saying stuff that's good about the market. They usually don't say bad stuff. Well, specifically Jay Powell, but I don't think Jay Powell is going to be speaking today. It's going to be who's speaking today? Fed member Brainerd. So Fed member Brainerd speaking at 7:05. At 11, we have Fed member Williams speaking. And then we have the minute meetings tomorrow. So, we'll see. But they're going to be talking about the, goes on the thing earlier. I forgot where it was. Where was it at? Okay, whatever. It's right here. So they're going to be talking about possible recession, right? So whether the Fed classifies us as entering a recession, being in a recession, whatever or whatnot, that's going to affect the market. So we'll see. It's about to come up shortly, so just keep that in mind. So here we go. As price drops back below, and you can see where price is kind of just bouncing around from. It's bouncing around news price right here. This pink line. Yeah, news is coming up in about 4 minutes. So, be very selective and careful about what trades you guys decide to take, because last thing you want to do is be in a position and then price ends up spiking one way or the other due to news, because it is high impact. So let me see where the projections are. So projections for the news today are going to be, it's like positive. So they're projecting it to be a bit positive, but who knows? So this might be positive, and then Brainerd will speak about positivity too, and then I'll just push price up even higher, which is fine. But you can see right here that price is now just ranging sideways at the moment. It's It's ranging sideways while it is creating a smaller range. So going over here to the clean chart, guys. So here's the markup that I drew this morning, right? So before price dumped below, you can see that it hit all of liquidity right here, right? And then on its way up, it hit all of liquidity right here. It basically went on a huge stop loss hunt. Liquidity, liquidity, hit liquidity right here. Liquidity right there. I just kept pushing up higher and higher until it hit the end of liquidity here. And then it just tapered off and now went sideways, right? And as you can see here, look where price is rejecting from. It came back to retest liquidity. And now it's pushing up higher. So the key area that you're kind of looking for at this point for price to break is going to be this high right here, right? Because when it breaks this high, it's going to confirm the bullish bias, even though it's already somewhat confirmed. It's going to confirm it fully once it actually breaks and closes past that area. At the moment, price is just ranging right now, and there really isn't much of a clear direction for the obvious reasons. There's news coming up shortly. Yeah, man, this is really a trap. This is a classic Trap Tuesday. A lot of people laugh about it and think it's funny, but it's like, as you guys can see, I'm sure there's a lot of people who got stopped out and lost a lot of money today who was gambling. If you're gambling on the wrong side, like for us, we had a bullish bias. So, we had our breakout for a buy. So we were taking trades in the direction where we're supposed to be trading. A lot of people, I'm sure, got caught in the fake out below here when price initially dropped. And I'm sure a lot of people just had too much pride to close out of their account. And I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, right? I'm sure there's been a time where you guys have traded where you guys saw this happen. You see price dropping. So what happens is you chase it. You enter a sell right here, and then price comes back up. And then what happens at this point is you guys don't put a stop loss, and then you have too much pride to close out of your trade. And you're like, oh, price is going to have to come back down. And then it doesn't. And then you still don't close out of your trade, and it keeps going higher and higher and higher until your account's been blown. So, you guys got to be careful with these moves. Yeah, that's why I'm very patient about the trades that I decide to take, because, I know the temptation, because that's happened to me before, where I've chased a trade like that. I put no stop loss because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for a small little push, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going until your account's blown or you get margin called out because you don't have any more money in your account. So just something to keep in mind, right? Just be patient with your trades, be disciplined. Don't chase big moves like that. I know it's really tempting because you see these big moves and you just want to hop in. Only hop in if you have an actual entry. Like for the breakout right here, that was an actual entry. So you could have taken the buy if you wanted to. It wasn't just a random, oh, I'm going to enter this buy because price is pushing. You're actually entering buy because there's a strategy there. So back over here, let's see if there's anything else. See, Maddie said V1 body full TP. Oh, this one right here, right? Are you talking about that? Yeah. I didn't take it either. Yeah, full TP off that, the full body one. It's actually really easy to see, huh, Maddie? Because the thing is, you're not waiting for the wick. You're kind of just waiting for it to, and there we go with the close above here. With the close above here, this is probably going to confirm the bullish bias. I mean, it's already been confirmed, but this is a better confirmation. So I would be surprised if price continues to push up higher at this point. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And the reason why I wouldn't take any trades at the moment right now is because this is news. So news is right there. It's kind of created a bit of a zone. I'll refresh this. News was neutral. So neutral news right there. So as you can see, price is pushing up. The reason why I wouldn't want to take trades at this moment, and this is a high-low entry, just like Madhu mentioned, that this is a high-low entry right here, but it's at news price, so that's why I wouldn't take it, because news it's on the actual news candle. But yes, this is a high-low entry right there, which would have hit full TP already. So the entry that Madhu is referring to right there is the high-low scalp. right there. There was a high right here, price broken, closed past it, hasn't been tested, straight high low, quick little entry for a buy. But there's just too much news around this area. So I wouldn't want to take trades around there because what could happen is price will push up, then it'll come back down, then it'll push back up, which happens a lot. You guys have seen it before. So I'm really cautious around trading on news or just specific price points. Henry's asking, at what point is something not too risky? When everything here that we're looking at is not present, when there's not news, price isn't near news price isn't ranging, price isn't, I mean, there's a lot of red flags here, Henry. I don't know if you should just write a list and identify things for yourself so that you can see how is it risky, right? Because I can identify everything here, but if you're not understanding it, you kind of have to start to understand it, because it's pretty obvious when things are risky and it's obvious when things aren't risky. So the second part of your question is, if the setup is there, why do you not take the trade? Because obvious reasons. I mean, I don't know if you're not paying attention this whole session, but I've been kind of warning everybody of the risks here. So I don't know. Did you just join the room, Henry? Or are you just still confused about it? Because the thing is, I mean, this whole session I've been mentioning, there's news right here. There's a lot of things that I mentioned. I said there's Zelensky addressing the Security Council. There's high impact news. There's the Fed speaking. There's a lot of things that cause it to be risky. I'm just trying to understand, Henry, because today and yesterday, you kind of asked a lot of questions, but I kind of explained everything right before. But I don't know if you just joined the room. So if you just joined the room, I'm fine with explaining it to you again. But I just want to make sure that you're actually understanding stuff, because if I just explained it and you don't get it, I'm gonna have to try to explain it differently. So does this make sense to you guys? Because I just want to make sure I'm not sounding confusing to you guys, because I try to explain everything as in detail as possible. But if this is not making sense to people, if you don't understand that there's news right here, or because I kind of explained everything. So if there's any trouble, because Henry's the person that kind of seems like he has issues with understanding my explanations. If you guys are having problems with it, just let me know. It's not hurt my feelings. I'll try to figure out a different way to explain it better. But if this is an issue, okay, because it makes sense to everybody else here. I just want to make sure. But yeah, there's Joshua said probably makes sense. You say the same thing every day. Yeah, no. Okay, great. I just want to make sure it's cool for you guys, because I want to make sure that you guys are actually understanding this stuff. A lot of this stuff I don't really have to think about because I already know what's going on. But I try to break it down as much as possible so that you guys can understand my reasoning as to why a trade is risky or not. It's pretty obvious. There's news here. You don't trade around news because price can be highly manipulated. Right here, we have a bullish bias, but this push up right here was based off news, and then it's coming back down, right? So the thing is, if you're chasing a trade right here, because we do have a bullish bias, we have news again right here, right? So that's why I mark up these pink lines, because we had news right here, price pushed up a little bit, then it faked out, just kind of ranged a little bit. We had news again right here, price pushed up. So you can see this push up right here is based off the news, right? And now it's coming back down. So as price comes back down, it may come back and test this news price before coming back up or going back lower. So the thing with news, guys, the reason why I don't take trades around news is because sometimes you get an initial reaction like this right here, right? News happened right here. This was the initial reaction, right? Where price pushed up. Look where price comes back down to news. It's it's just a little fake out, because news happened, price pushed it up, and it comes right back down. It's like this move never even happened. So just to try to clarify with you guys why we don't trade during news, why we wait for price to have its movement after news, because look where price is rejecting from, right? This candle is rejecting exactly off news price right here. So it kind of just pushed up and then it came back down. Now that it's back at this point, this is where you can kind of determine where the actual move is going to happen, right? Because now price is back to where it was. Like if you just ignore this right here, price is literally back to where it was. So at this point, price will either come back up or it'll just come, down further. And that's how you build scenarios in the market when identifying, where you want to trade. So, other than that, yeah, no, thanks for all your guys' explanations here. So it's kind of, Rick says your analysis is saving my ass today, Sean. Yeah, no, this is why I'm not really rushing into any trades, guys, because the market is moving kind of crazy. And I do have a lot of these things marked up for you guys to understand. So you can see that price pushed up due to the news. And then we have the Fed speaking again right here. Like if you guys forgot like what's going on right now, there is so there's a lot of things that are going on. Zelensky is speaking to the Security Council of the UN. This is affecting the market right here because this is regarding the war, right? So he's basically, the Ukrainian president Zelensky is speaking directly to the Russian Federation right here, which is pretty crazy. I mean, they're having direct talks right here, and it's live. And then we have the Fed speaking right now as well. I don't think there is any news or there's anything that we can watch for the Fed, but the Fed is speaking right now. I don't think there's a link for it. So we got the Fed speaking right now. It's 7:05. Right here, Fed member Brainerd is speaking. And then we have Zelensky over here, president of Ukraine, speaking to the United Nations Security Council, speaking directly to, the Russian Federation. And then, so right here, you can see reports of Russian war crimes more than credible. So like basically like they're trying to charge Russia with like all these war crimes. That's going to affect the market, right? Because it's going to affect the relationship with the US. So like right here, you can see prices coming down heavily. This is probably based off like stuff that's going on behind the scenes. It's not stuff that directly affects the market, but it indirectly affects it, because if this affects relations with like other countries, it's going to cause price to move. So anyways, back to the chart. You can see prices now coming back down. Let's go back over here and take a look at the retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently now 60% short. So overall, I'm still looking for buys here, guys. I'm still looking for buys. The fundamentals are not very strong anymore. They're currently down, actually. They're down 12 points. So as you can see, there's no confluence with regard to the bias right now, because this is indicating to take buys. There's 60% of short traders who are selling right now. We want to do the opposite of them. However, the fundamentals are currently bearish. They're not very strong, but they are bearish. They're down 12 points. Also looking over here at the technicals, you can see that the technicals are actually indecisive. And it's in an area where there can be a lot of manipulation, right? Because it's right at the sessions. So right here at the sessions, we'll see if price ends up coming down further. So we had price breaking close past the sessions. We have the retest right here. If price ends up pushing below here, then price may continue lower and test the next area of structure right here, which is the Asia low. Oops, delete that on accident. Rick said up 4,700 today after being down about 1,200. Yeah, Solange said the Rick strategy is at TP1. Let's go. Yeah, no, it's almost there. I mean, Rick is trying to, he's basically trying to get down to opening price over here, which could happen. I'm not doubting it, because it's been happening the past couple of days. So price pushed above here, and then it just dropped suddenly right here about 2,000 pips. So here's another red flag. So I'm trying to indicate like all the things here that make trading at this moment risky. The volatility is way too high. Usually volatility move around like 500 pips. Like this is normal movement. throughout the session, right? Like each candle will probably be about 500 pips. This is like normal, right? But the thing with the candles here is that you'll have candles that are moving like 1,000 pips, like even more. So the volatility is too high. The reason why it becomes risky is because if your stop loss is like 500 pips and each candle is like spiking like about 1,000 pips, then you can easily get stopped out of a position on retracement or on like spikes, like when price spikes around. Maddie said, I'm gonna have to buy a new account every other day to use this strategy. Yeah, no, definitely. Rick said he's done for the day. So nice, Rick. Rick's up 4,700 and he was down 1,200. So now he's up. So technically you would have been up like well over 5,000 today, Rick, if you, if you didn't end up having that small loss earlier, but it's all good. Yeah, Rain said price swept out all those buyers. So going back over here to sentiment, 59% short. All right, so it looks like price closed above the sessions right here. I wouldn't be surprised if price pushes all the way back up from this point. So I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit right here, just so that you can follow it. I wouldn't be surprised if price pushes back up to news price or something like that. Like up to there. I mean, there's two ways that this can go. Like it can either go back to news price over here, or I can push down to opening price right here. I think those are like the two main scenarios right now. The thing with this is that there's no confluence, right? I mean, the main confluence here, the retail sentiment is 59% short. It's indicating to take buys. However, the fundamentals over here, it's just right down the middle. It goes from like green to red every other second. Let's see, a little update on the Fed here. It says Fed's Brainerd sees balance sheet reduction soon and at a rapid pace. Oh, I didn't even know it was a girl. I thought it was a guy. Not Brainerd, was the guy. So let's see. Rick said, looks kind of guyish. So they're going to be releasing the balance sheet, sees balance sheet reduction soon. So we'll see how that affects the market. And there we go, as price starts to drop lower. So let's see if it closes below this line, like I mentioned. That's kind of what we were waiting for, right? We're waiting for it to close below the line. But you can see where price is rejecting from. It's rejecting right off these sessions right here. So it might just range around this area before it chooses its actual direction. Current cycle is being stronger and faster than previous cycle. Expect bounces. So, I mean, I can't tell if this news is good or bad because, I mean, well, it says that they're going to be tightening monetary policy, which is not a good thing, but then the balance sheet's going to get tighter. So I think this is technically overall bad because if they're going to be tightening monetary policy through a series of interest rate increases. So yeah, this is not going to be good for the market. So this news right here that was just released that the Fed is discussing is not good for the market. That's why price keeps dropping lower. So like this will probably drop down to opening price, like Rick was saying, following the Rick strategy, the risky Rick strategy. Yeah, no, exactly. Nick said not even really any room to take speculative trades since we got sessions right there. Yeah, that's a problem too. As you can see our prices bouncing around the sessions. What we might get right here is just range until price does drop. But I do think overall price will probably drop further to opening price. Well, unless like they say something different. So like they just said that they're going to increase interest rates. There's going to be a series of interest rate increases. If they're doing that, then that's not good. Plus, we have this happening over here still. President, Ukrainian president speaking. There's just a lot of things going on right now that's causing price to kind of push around. But yeah, I do think price is probably going to come down and test the opening price over here, especially if the Fed doesn't have anything good to say, which doesn't look like. See, Lisa said 3K and done. Not all. Definitely nice work, Lisa. So yeah, looking over here, let's see. A lot of people sent in their profits. Melanie, she took a couple of trades both directions, or she took a NASDAQ buy and she took a sell over here for US30, locked in a total of 400. Nice work, Melanie. Patrick over here locked in a total of 3,305. Nice work, Patrick. Yeah, Patrick said too much news and other factors in the morning. I'm out. Tiana over here locked in a total of 5,112. Nice work, Tiana. Dell over here locked in a total of 1,017. And Lisa over here locked in a total of 2,899. Nice work, Lisa. All right, guys, so you guys are all doing pretty good so far. Joshua over here took a little screenshot of me. Just kidding. Locked in a total of 515. Nice work, Joshua. And his other account over here, 187. So great work, guys, across the board with you guys over here. Profit so far. So nice for Joshua. Rashida over here as well, locked in a total of 797. Nice work, Rashida. No, you're good, Josh. I'm just messing with you. No, because I know some people are watching the Zoom on their phone, so that's why they have the other screen up, but it's no biggie. They're just messing. Maddie over here locked in a total of 228. Nice work, Maddie. And then his other account over here locked in a total of 116. So nice work, guys. Other than that, let's see. iPhone said, how do you feel when you're not taking trades and others have already made good ones for the day? I don't feel anything. I don't compare myself to anybody. So it's kind of like, I just focus on me. I mean, you guys have seen where I've had like pretty big days too, and people haven't had big days. So, I mean, I think that's the main problem with a lot of people is like, a lot of people try to compare themselves to other people or other people's profits. Like for some days I'll be having, really big profitable days. And then some days I won't, but most of the time I don't have any losses. So I don't really care. I'm not worried about making profits or not, because I know I'm going to make profits either way. It's just a given. It's just, I'm waiting for those better opportunities. Yeah, no, like Mauricio said, Sean is happy for others' success. Yeah, no, definitely. That's why I'm always happy to see a lot of people here profiting, because people are profiting off my analysis, right? A lot of people here who are taking trades, they're just listening to my analysis, or they're following trades that I'm indicating or trades that I take myself. So even though because I'm a lot more conservative than other traders, the thing is I've been trading for a lot longer. So for me, I have more discipline in waiting for the perfect entries. Because the thing is, you don't have to take every single trade, right? Like I'm way past that phase where I feel like I have to take every single trade that comes up. Because the thing is, you can get lucky every so often, but your luck runs out. When you run out, that's where it really comes into play, where you're able to control your discipline and not continue to trade losses versus, just waiting. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Joshua said, someone said in the KT chat yesterday, comparison is a thief of joy. I thought that statement was pretty awesome. Yeah, no, exactly. And I saw it too. So I think Kodi was referring to that yesterday, right? Or something. It was like in here. Yeah, Mike said it. So like Toto was talking about profits and stuff and how everyone does well. And, Mike said, comparison is a thief of joy, my friend, which basically, the thing is like what Mike was referring to is that, if you compare yourself to other people's profits, it's going to make you feel bad, right? Because you haven't like made profits, but realistically, it's like you should just focus on yourself and your own account, because that's Anton. So that's Anton right there. Yeah, Anton is my he's he's the one that that referred to it. Yeah, but no, that's a good statement, Anton. I try to remind people about that all the time, but you know, a lot of people still feel kind of they kind of feel that FOMO feeling. Anyways, price is now pushing lower. As you can see, we were looking at it from over here, guys. And I mentioned that when price breaks below here, it's probably going to drop lower, which it did, because it confirmed the bias, right? So the bias shift right here, we had a break and close below here. If you guys remember this, or if you guys don't, you can watch the mentoring session from yesterday. I went over it in detail. So basically right here, we confirmed price break and close past the structure right here, which is the Asia high. We had the retest, and then we had price break and close below here, which confirmed it. So with that said, that would confirm that we're technically in a short-term bearish bias. Our overall bias looks like it is still going to be long though. It's 58% short. Price can just swing up at any moment. Fundamentals are currently down 57 points, 52 points, not very strong, but yeah, you can see right here, price rejected directly off the news price right there. So as you guys can see, these news price points are important. I don't just draw a news price for no reason. This news is right here at 5:30. So this news event happened right here at 5:30. Price came back down and it just retested it. So basically, it's a double bottom off news price right there. And there you go, as price pushes up higher. So, you know, it's just a matter of waiting for like those perfect entries, guys. Like for me, I don't care if I have like if I don't make profit a day. If you don't make profit a day, guys, and you don't have any losses, I still consider that a win for the day. Because the thing is, the majority of people out there are losing trades every day. If you're able to have discipline and not lose a trade or avoid a losing trade, you know, you're doing better than the next person, because majority of people there are not good at trading. And it's not even their strategy, it's just their mindset and being able to have discipline and wait during, you know, weird market conditions. So let's see. Yeah, Nick said, on this note, I'm freaking stoked to see how many people have been moving their way up in K2 lately, from just challenge traders to funded traders. Great job, guys and gals. Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm glad to see that too. That's like one thing that I like seeing in K2 as well. I like seeing a lot of the K2 members who pass their FTMOs or get funded every week, basically every day, right? So some more profit here. Nelly here, he said, risky market today, just got one scalp, locked in a total of 334. So he took this around a little earlier at 7 o'clock. So nice work right there, Nelly. Stern over here, locked in a total of 1,036. Nice work, Stern, off that account. And then his second account locked in 494 euros. So great work right there, Stern. Marlon over here as well. And you guys can see, like, so Marlon here, she joined K2 like not that long ago. She's been killing it too. Her consistency has been like through the roof. Like right here, all wins, no losses, 227. I don't think I've seen Marlon take any losses like this whole time. I think. I mean, you showed me your profits the other day. Like you had like one small loss there, but everything is all straight wins. So this is like really what's key here, guys. It's just consistency, right? If you guys can be consistent and just stack up your wins, I mean, that's the real key thing. Because if and we go over to Charles over and he has a bunch of losses. So Charles didn't have as much consistency, but he did have some bigger wins here to make up for it. So it looks like he just kind of got in at bad entry points. And then he finally got his good entry point right there, and he made it all back with like one trade. So nice work right there, Charles. You know, everyone trades a little different. Yeah, Charles, he's in the chat right now. He said, yeah, I just gambled this morning. So he kind of played around this morning and he finally got it down. He, you know, focused and got his trade right and just made back all of his small losses right here. So nice work, Charles. You still made profit. So that's the key thing. You know, recovery. Scotty over here as well, locked in a total of 377. So nice work, guys. Yeah, I mean, other than that, price is now kind of just ranging around this area. You know, I didn't realize there was going to be that much news today. I was hoping I was going to catch at least one trade, but it's okay. Cause like sometimes I won't have any trades like on Monday or Tuesday. And then on Wednesday or Thursday, I have like a big profitable day. Like I'll make like 3 trades that make huge profit. during those days, and it just makes up for like my patience on Monday and Tuesday. So just going back over here, let me see. Yeah, sentiment is still 57% short. Not really much going on over here. It's just it's slowly moving, but it's not really moving much to the point where it's really making a big impact. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently 56 points in the red. It hasn't really changed much. It's been there pretty much this whole time. Looking over here at the technicals are technically bearish at the moment. However, we'll see how far it pushes. Price is now ranging. So with price ranging like this, price is going to have to break out one way or the other, right? It's either going to break out to the upside or it's going to break out to the downside. My guess is that it's probably going to push down lower and test the opening price. But I mean, who knows? What if the Fed starts to say something that will affect the market even better? So there's a little update right here with regard to the S&P. Says S&P 500 dips following 2 days of gains as investors assess the Fed's next move, recession odds. Yeah, which Fed member Brainerd said they're going to increase interest rates, so it's not good for the market, obviously. So, and we'll see what goes from there. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, is still addressing, the issues at the United Nations Security Council. Other than that, let me refresh this. I think that's about it for now. There he goes. Price pushes up a little higher. Yeah, Nick said, yep, Wednesdays and Thursdays are the days to trade, in my opinion. Also Fridays, but only if it's a good Friday. Sometimes Friday is super slow. Other times it moves smooth. Yeah, no, exactly. I think a normal Friday is better versus like NFP or something like that, because obviously that's going to affect the market pretty heavily. All right, so other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Other than that, man, I was hoping it was going to smoothen out a little bit so I can maybe catch at least one trade, but there's not really much here for me to, even really consider. There's no V1s, V2s, but even if there was a V1 or V2 that came up, the main issue with like the direction is that there is no direction, right? Overall direction is going to be bullish unless this continues to decrease. If this continues to decrease here, then this is not going to be a strong bias anymore, which is decreasing pretty heavily. It went from 60% to now 56, so it's not really much of a use again. This is how it's been for the past week or so. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently not heavy either. It's 46 points in the red. So there just isn't much of a confluence here. Market volatility died down a bit. I think the Fed is still speaking. So if they're still speaking, we're probably going to get a recovery back to the upside. If they're still speaking, this is usually how their announcements go. They usually have good or bad news initially. So initially, obviously, you can see here price dropped because they were discussing how they would increase interest rates, right? Now they're going to have to balance it out with good news. So they have they started off with the bad news, price came down, and then here's the good news where price is probably pushing up further. But we have to, there's no way for us to really see what they're discussing because it's not being recorded. Or let me see if it's being recorded here anywhere. I don't think there's, here, let me just search it up real quick and I'll see if there's anything over here that I can find. Okay. No, so there isn't, There's no live telecast of Brainerd speaking right now. The last time she spoke here on YouTube was like 2 months ago. So there's nothing with her actually speaking right now. That's where the minutes are going to come out tomorrow. So yeah, Brainerd speaking right now. Williams going to speak at 11, and then tomorrow they're going to release the minutes where she discusses, what changes are going to be made. So there's no way for us to really identify what she's talking about. But I'm assuming she's saying good things since price is pushing back up. If she just kept talking about how they're going to increase monetary policy or policies and stuff, then I would expect it to continue dropping. But let me see what's going over here. Yeah, CT said March was the first interest rate release. The Fed is setting up for the next one. I think it's around this time. They said there'll be 6 interest rate hikes. Yeah, I remember when they discussed that last week or last month. Oh, that was Sisu. Sorry. I just saw myself get tagged here. CT over here sent this to me as well. So CT has looks like a demand sitting on the bottom. Yeah, so it looks like CT and Maddie are identifying a bounce coming soon to the upside. Maddie just sent in some profits, locked in a total of 540 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. Off that account, and then his second account locked in 324. So yeah, guys, nice work right there. Seems like a lot of you guys are identifying a bounce right here at some point. Trying to see if I could find. Well, I mean, I guess I could kind of see it too right here. So I could kind of see what you guys are looking at. I mean, maybe mine is different, but it's basically just that right there. Because you can see where price kind of pushed up from that point. We'll see if it rejects from here and pushes back up. Because it's rejecting off the news price right here too. So like the thing with this is I just got the body right here from this low, or not the body, but the entire candle. The only problem with this here is that even if price does push above here, it's going to be right at the sessions. So it's going to be a bit risky to be taking something if it comes up and it just bounces off the sessions right there. Yeah, we'll see. Rami said potential high low. If it pushes above here, then yeah, there'd be a high low right there. This was actually a V1 variation. There's a double wick rejection right there. It's kind of hard to see because the candles are so small. The volatility has died down a lot. Probably caught that right there, huh, Maddie? Or are you in it now? This right there. Yeah, it's right at the sessions, that's why. So a little bounce right there. This is actually also, yeah, so this is another variation right there. That rain, it's a double body that we were talking earlier about the variation. It's double body right here. So I think a rain probably caught it. It was just right at the sessions though. So that's like the risky part about it. it did shoot like right to TP. So if like you caught it right away. It's just hard to trade around this area where the sessions are. Because you get a lot of this where price just starts to bounce around. But yeah, so if you guys are kind of curious, like what we're looking at right here, this entry that we saw at this point was, we've covered the strategy in the mentoring session yesterday. So if you guys want to go watch it, feel free to go watch the mentoring session from yesterday. You just have to go on the YouTube channel, which is, let's see. It's just a variation to the V1. So if you go to the YouTube channel, right here, go to videos, and it's going to be the most recent video right here, where we went over that in detail. It's just a little change to the V1 variation. It's just, instead of you looking for the double wick, it's a double body. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free, but it's right at the session. So it's just, I mean, this is the worst part about trading around these areas, because the sessions is right there. Other than that, I mean, there's not really much going on. Volatility is kind of down. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever questions you guys have. There just isn't much for us to look at right now because market isn't moving. It's right at the sessions. There's no bias. I think price is going to push up though. Like my guess is that overall, I think price is going to push up because I'm still looking at retail sentiment over here, which is 56% short. So if the retail traders are on the short side, obviously I want to do the opposite. But I mean, the volatility is pretty much dead at the moment, right? It's just going to keep bouncing around this area. Yeah, unless I see anything better here, but there's really as much to look at. Yeah, Maddie said also broke my candle off demand, was waiting for the candle to break, lined up with the V1. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the fact that your demand rejection also lined up with the V1, little variation there, it it gave you a better confluence. But other than that, I mean, I don't really see anything going on here. I mean, price is kind of, let me see how much movement we're getting here. Not really much. It's like 100, 150 pips. It's like 100 or 200 pips here, which is not too much. But you can see price is squeezing at this moment. Like I haven't really been updating the high lows here, but the squeeze is just getting tighter and tighter. Let me delete this right here. So as the squeeze gets tighter and tighter, it's just going to prepare for a breakout. So as you can see, this range here is just getting really tight. And eventually it's going to break out one way or the other because price is squeezing. So it's going to go either up or it's going to go down. My guess is that it's probably going to push up, but who knows? Oh, there's another V1 right there. Not a V1, but the variation to the V1 right there. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Right here. Let's see if it pushes it up higher. I think it already hit CP. So another one right there, Orain, same thing that you were looking for. The double body. Let's see. and I actually took it. I didn't say anything to you guys, sorry, but I did take it since I was looking at I was looking over here at my MT4. The spread's kind of wide, so it was still pushing it up. So I couldn't get the full move, but yeah, V1 right there. So this lined up with both of ours. So it's a double wick, but it also lined up with your double body. And there was a pending buyer there. So I actually took that trade, guys. It was a V1. I'll send you guys the profits real quick. I don't know if anyone else caught it, but it happened really quick. This was based off the original V1 right here. So as you can see, there's a low there. The reason why I was kind of inclined to take this, because as I was just discussing, I mentioned, price was ranging. It's going to have to break out one way or the other. My guess was that price was going to break out to the upside. Another confluence that I saw here was that it was double body. So it was double body, double wick. It was breaking out of the range here. I know right here, this would have been iffy because it's right at the sessions, but I did take it. Sometimes I still get FOMO too. Like I mentioned before, I've been trading for a long time, but I still get FOMO, and I've been waiting for one trade for this whole week. So it's kind of tempted me. And then I took it anyways. So I took that right there and that hit full TP. I'll take a screenshot of my profits real quick. And I'll just show you guys here so that if you guys want to go back and just review it at some point in the future, which a lot of people do like to review these trades, this will help you understand it more. So let me take a screenshot on my profits. And this is just so that you guys can go back and look at it later, because I know a lot of you guys are probably going to want to see what I did there. So here's my... Not a huge profit, it's just 100 pips, but it is something, I guess. Nothing too crazy. Just got a screenshot all of the accounts here. So I'm glad that I have at least one trade this week under my belt. A lot of you guys have a lot more trades, but it's all good. I'll catch up to you guys as the week progresses. But it's no big deal, guys. I like seeing that a lot of you guys here are profiting, even though I'm not really profiting as much as I normally do. The only thing that I'm happy about is that I'm not losing. I think that's the main thing that you guys have to focus on. Consistency and not losing. Because if you guys can do that, profits will just continue to add up over time. It's like there was some slippage across my accounts. So profits are kind of different. I don't know what's going on with this one. This one keeps giving me... I swear I changed the max lots for that. I'm gonna have to check that again. All right, anyways, let me send my profits in real quick. One of my accounts, I don't know why it keeps giving me like partial profits. But all right. iPhone's asking a double wick rejection. So a double wick rejection is exactly what it's called. See how there's a double wick rejection? Sorry, I was like it. So a double wick rejection is basically two wicks where they're rejecting off the same price point. There's a low right there, and there's another, it tested again. So double wicks mean there's two wicks right next to each other rejecting off the same spot, which is right there. That's the V1. So it's double wick and it's double body, which is what we discussed in the mentoring session yesterday. But yeah, anyways, here's the profits that I made off that. So let's give a little update right here. Yeah, no problem. iPhone. There. All right, so here's my main account. You can see the green strips. I let it hit TP, made 1,010 off that. Here's my FTML copier. There's some slippage there. I made 130 off this one, or 1,030. And then this is my MFF, made 1,040. Here's my other MFF, some slippage there as well, made 940. And then here's my other account. I don't know. I gotta fix this. I don't know why it says 50. I gotta change the max slot, I think. But yeah, made 500 off that. And there's another variation right here, I think. Yeah, there's another double body, but this double body here would be kind of iffy because there's no pending buy signal. So I mean, as I mentioned, we haven't really figured out the details for the strategy, but yeah, if you were to take that there, it's still, I mean, you still would get your TP, it looks like. So the only problem with like trading around this area, guys, is that there's so many sessions here. There's a session right here. There's a session right here. It's just, sessions all over the place, which makes it an issue. Other than that, guys, it's 7:48 right now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat and then we can go over whatever you guys need help with. Otherwise, let's see. Randy's asking if you trade on TV, if your trade on TV wicks out, but it doesn't close on MT4, do you still manually close it? So it kind of depends, Randy. Like if you're going for like 100 pips, I would kind of just let it run to TP. If it's like, well, I mean, it's like for example, the trade that was running right here, the spread seemed a little bit wider. So I was at like 700 in profit and then just kept bouncing back and forth and was like 900 in profit. It was like a couple bucks away from reaching its TP, right? So if that becomes the case and I'm not really confident about the position, then yeah, I would close it out manually. Like for example, when I took the trade over here, I don't even know where that was. When I took the trade, that was, I can't remember where it was. I think it was like, anyways, I'm just going to use this as the example. I can't remember where it was, but yeah, like for example, right here, where it pushed out like that, I was like, man, what the heck? It didn't close my trade out. So kind of just held on to it. Or actually it was like right here, or it was somewhere around this area. Basically, just using this as an example where price hits your TP and it keeps pushing and you're like, it doesn't close you out, then yeah, I would probably close it out manually. For me, I was just like, okay, it's going to keep pushing. So I just let it be. And then actually it was right here. There we go. It was right here. So it did push out and then it came back down and it pushed up again. I was kind of thinking of closing it, but I knew it was going to push up because I always follow retail sentiment. If this is short, I'm like, okay, price is going to push up to some extent. So I just let it push up and then I ended up just letting it run. But yeah, in some instances, if that happens too much or you don't feel comfortable about it, you don't think price can keep pushing up like all the way, I would just close it out manually with profit. Because what happens sometimes is you'll get like these weird movements in price where price will spike up and spike down and it'll stop you out and it'll push right back up to your TP. So yeah, it just depends on the situation. Solange said 10 minutes, a bit messy, but looks like he caught a snipe over here. He saw a snipe. 10-minute right here. Yeah, no, the 10 is super messy because it's been super choppy pretty much the entire session. Oh, my SR looks kind of short. Yeah, I can't even see. There's just too much stuff going on right here. So let me just turn this off. Yeah, it's just there's too much going on right here to lunch. So I wouldn't even have looked at any of those on the 10-minute. Yeah, I couldn't even find it. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Solange said, I didn't take it. You said it would go up, so I didn't take it. You was right. Yeah, no, definitely. And I see this the seller here. You're probably looking for one of these, right? Cool. See, Kenny said, Sean, you got mail. Let's see. Kenny said, all right, so oh yeah, that's what we're watching right now too, Kenny. So this is the same thing we were just watching. Zelensky is addressing the UN Council. This is what we were looking at earlier. So he's speaking now, and this will obviously, affect the market as he continues to address the, war going on in Ukraine. Thanks, Kenny, for sending me that. Other than that, let's see, Lisa sent in more profits. Man, Lisa's just showing off now. Lisa locked in a total of 4,560. I thought Lisa was going to bed. She's still in here? No, she's not. Lisa said, couldn't help myself. Now I'm done, night all. Yeah, because Lisa's in Bali, so it's like opposite time over there. It's like super late. Josh over here as well. So Joshua sent in some more profits, locked in 742 for the day. Nice work, Joshua. His other account, 326. Nice work, Joshua. Yeah, Joshua said, great analysis as always. See you tomorrow, bro, on the live. Definitely, Joshua. We'll see you tomorrow. See, Charles over here sent in some more profits as well, locked in a total of 306. Nice work, Charles. Nice comeback from those trades earlier. Then his other account over here, locked in this right here, 171. Nice work, Charles. Other than that, let me see. What am I missing over here? Just send these over to the other group so that you guys can review it if you want to. Nice work, Randy. So Randy's first day over here with us on the premium. Randy locked in a total of 719 for the day. Nice work, Randy. Looks like you had a couple accidents right there. It's all right, it happens. But overall, your consistency is good. You have way more wins than losses, and your wins heavily outweigh your losses as well. So great work, Randy. Other than that, let's see. Question from iPhone. iPhone's asking, how do you create strategy, Sean? Like, do you spend time other than live and mentoring sessions? So, I mean, I don't really create strategies. Well, I did previously when I first created the strategies. I didn't really create them because, well, I created them, but not necessarily where I sat down and was like, okay, I'm going to create a strategy. As just I had strategies in my head, and then I just put them into videos and I put them into requirements so that you guys can learn them as well. But I don't just sit down and like, okay, I'm gonna learn strategy. I just look at the market. So like, for example, right here, I'm looking at the charts. And if I see a pattern in the market or on the charts that I see very often, then I get the logic. So I'm like, okay, if this happens, and this happens, then this is an entry for the strategy. I'm never like just sitting down and like, okay, I need this to happen or something like that, right? It just flows. Like, for example, if the market right here is giving me something that continues to happen over and over again, then I turn that into a strategy. I don't like sit down and try to create a strategy. I just look at the charts, and if I see something that happens often, then I turn that into a strategy. So not necessarily what you may think, like where, someone sits down and is like, okay, I need this to win. So I need this, and that. That's not what I do. I just watch the chart, and then I use my tools here, the K2 indicators that I created, to help me identify that, or help you guys identify it. Because the thing is, I can trade without all these indicators on the chart. I created all these indicators myself just to show you guys what I can see on the chart. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, let's see. Peter said iPhone comes from Sean's 10 plus years of experience. You notice patterns that repeat themselves and create strategy from that. No, yeah, and you're 100% right, Peter. I didn't even read your message. So thanks for breaking down. Peter basically just broke down exactly what I just said. Like that's why I have a clean chart here, because if I have a clean chart, I can see things on the chart as well, right? So I can kind of just see things, how price kind of consolidates, pushes down, consolidates, pushes down, right? From this point, I can implement this into a strategy. Like I have the high-low indicator, so I can identify the high lows here. Right, like I could identify these high lows, and I could identify that when prices break below it, it continues to drop lower. So this is kind of how I identify the break and close patterns, because prices break and close right here, break and close, retest, close below, and it's a continued push lower, right? So I could see these patterns without the indicators. I create these indicators for you guys so that you guys can see what I see. But I mean, I've been trading for so long that it's just like reading a book, it's kind of like reading a language here off the charts. But yeah, back to, let's see, Maded's asking for variation. Technically, there's a variation right here. Yes, there's a V3. However, it's not one that I would take because I could already tell the stop loss is too tight. You typically need about a 300 pip stop loss, Maded, which would have to be down here. You can see from this point, stop loss is just way too close. It's 180 pips. Your spread's 110 pips. So if you were to enter this trade, you'd be like far in the negative. Also, another red flag why I wouldn't take this as a V3 is that the sessions is right here. So problem with that is if price pushes up, you can just bounce right off it, right? So yeah, a lot of things here why I wouldn't take it as a V3, but yes, you're correct. There is a V3 right there, variation V3. It does have pending buy momentum, but I think the main reason I wouldn't take it is because the sessions is right here. Which makes it too difficult to possibly miss. Other than that, Rami's asking, hey, Sean, could you check if 751, 752 is a double body also? Caught it to full TP, but I don't know about that doji. So 751. Let me just rewind it. Because it would have to be off a I don't think there was an entry right there. Right? I mean, because it would have to be off a high or a low. So let me check real quick. So there's a high right here. Oh, no, because there's no double body. Like the body's kind of higher, right? It has to be like right next to it. So I don't know if you're referring to this one right here. Let me go to the next one. Yeah, I don't know. This doji's kind of hard. I can't tell if this was and I'm assuming you took it for a buy or for a sell. This is where it gets kind of tricky. Like when the candle's so small like that, I kind of just see. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, Rami said, yeah, I made the mistake. No, I made the mistake of not looking at the high-low ticket for a buy. Yeah, so technically, I mean, so this is what I did on the mentoring session yesterday, right? I just took off the wicks. So if you saw it like that, so here's a problem. You're supposed to look for the low on this end. Like the low would have to be on this side because you want price to push to the upside, right? If you're pushing in and it's a high, you're looking for technically a sell. But if this high was actually a low, then yeah, that would be correct because you would have just taken it like that, which I think this is what you took. You kind of just like, you were looking at where the high or the low was and it still hit your TP, thankfully. Yeah, Rami said, yeah, I got bored and took my first trade, LOL. Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm glad that it worked for you, but yeah, I think you did the opposite. But the thing is, you're trading the direction of bias, so it did work out for you to, anyways. Randy said potential V3 coming up on the 1 minute. So yes, this would be a potential V3, but here's a problem. Same thing that we went over with the other entry over here. When you're entering a V3, you want there to be at least some space for you to have or actually it wouldn't be a V3. It's not a green candle. Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. If it was a green candle, then yeah, it would be. But here's like one thing that it's not in the requirements, but I'm going to be putting it in the requirements when I make the video. You want there to be at least some leeway. So you want like at least 300 pips. A 300 pip stop loss to, meaning like, so for example, let me see if I could find an actual V3 here that, okay, so here's a V3 right here. I don't know if this would fit the requirements, but no, when it's too close. The you basically want your entry point to have a stop loss of at least 300 pips. So like, I'll just use this for an example. I know this isn't 300 pips, but just to show you here, when you enter a short position, like this is a V3 right here, because you have a high with a green candle, it's followed by a red candle, there's a pending sell there. If you were to enter this for a sell, you want to have at least 300 pips for your stop loss, because the spread's usually about 110 pips. So if you enter this trade here, you're going to be entering in the negative already that much. So when you enter this trade, you're technically going to be entering like right here. This is where your actual entry is going to be. So if price pushes up a little bit, it can still stop you out if it's too close. So you want at least 300 pips. So if price does push up a little bit, that's fine, because then when it comes back down, straight to your TP, right? And there you go, straight to TP. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you did identify the V3 properly if it did close with a green candle, but it didn't. So unfortunately, no V3 at that. Other than that, I think that's about it. Let's see. Lily said, thanks, Sean. I'm out for today. Past phase one with profits today. Ready to start phase two tomorrow. Nice work, Lily. So Lily's done with her phase one. I'm assuming FTMO. So you're going to do your verification next, which should be a lot easier. Just stick to the same game plan, and then you should be funded by next week. Matthew said, isn't this a V2 as well? Yes. You're talking about this one right here, right, Matthew? The V2 and the V3 are pretty much the same thing. It's just the only difference is that the V2 requires a strong candle. So yeah, you're right, Matthew. That was technically a V2 if it did close and it wasn't at the sessions. Talanji is asking, oh yeah, can you explain the science behind an invalid momentum signal? Is it the same amount of momentum, just the wrong direction, or something else? So sometimes you'll get manipulation in price, right? Like we always talk about that. So sometimes this is what will happen. Like you can see these are valid momentum signals, right? Let me find an invalid one. Like something like this right here. So this is an invalid sell signal, right? You can see that there's a wick on the bottom. Let me just replay it. You can see that this candle has a wick on the bottom, right? So technically price was below there. And then I know you've seen it before sometimes where like the last second, like candle's going to close in the last 2 seconds and price just spikes up, right? So that's why these invalid signals come up, because they're technically down here, because price was down here and it was going to be a valid, a valid momentum signal. But at the last second, it just swings back up. I can't pull up like the actual details of this candle because this is a 1 minute candle, but that's usually how these happen. And then when you see from that point, price just kind of gets manipulated to the upside and then it comes back to where it was supposed to go, because this valid signal would have pushed price down here. So does that make sense, Talanji? I know it's kind of confusing, but if you go back and look at a lot of these invalid signals, you'll see that that happens a lot. Like when it's valid, it continues pushing. When it's invalid, you tend to get this fake out where it'll push like a little small. So again, right here, price started below here and then it just came up and then it came back down. And then same with this one right here. It came down, but then it came right back up. So there's like no straight explanation for it, but usually when those candles happen, it's like there's just some spike in price that ends up pushing it the opposite way at the very last second. Yeah, no, exactly. Talanji said it turns from valid to invalid, so the indicator gets confused. Yeah, because it does it in such a quick fashion. All right, guys, so it's past 8. I didn't realize we were on the session for longer than 8, but if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Unfortunately, we didn't really have very many opportunities today. There's too much stuff going on in the background. There's 3 big news events. Zelensky, president of Ukraine, is speaking to the GOP leaders over here. He's still going on right now. So with this going on right here, this is going to affect the market. Also, we had the Fed speak at 7:05. So pretty much the Fed spoke for a whole hour. And this is where this crazy kind of push happened, because the Fed started speaking here at 7. They said that they were going to increase interest rates. So price dropped down, came back up for a little swing retracement, and then now it's going right back down. So yeah, I mean, it was just a choppy day today because there's a lot of news events. Hopefully tomorrow will be a lot smoother. We just have the Fed minutes tomorrow, I think. Yeah, we have some news at 7:30, crude oil inventories. This is going to be positive, obviously, because we're not buying oil from Russia. So we already anticipate this to be positive. There's going to be the Fed meeting minutes at 11. But other than that, I think tomorrow might be a bit smoother. Hopefully tomorrow, Thursday will be smoother so we can catch some better moves. But we'll have to wait and see when the market does play out to see if it actually does move smoothly. So if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. You guys can email me, message me on Telegram. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow for the next live session, hopefully a lot better than this week so far. And we can catch something smoother. Jeff said, there's no FOMC tomorrow. They're just releasing the minutes, Jeff. So tomorrow they have FOMC minutes, but it's not. The FOMC was today. No, it's just so minutes are just the notes from the meeting today. So the meeting is happening today. This is where Fed member Brainerd spoke and Williams. Tomorrow they're just releasing the notes. It's just the transcript so that you guys can see, like, if people missed anything that they discussed, because their meeting isn't televised, so nobody knows what they're talking about exactly. But they're just going to release the notes. So yeah, if we missed something or something wasn't reported, it'll cause volatility. But it's happening at 11, so it's like way after our live session. So yeah, guys. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And then we will see you guys tomorrow for the next live session. So see you guys and have a great rest of your morning. And if you guys don't need a trade, I just sit out the market because the market's been trippy today. It's probably going to keep getting trippy throughout